What's going on? It's Max Maher with news that makes you money. So we have a proposal. 21 senators want monthly reoccurring stimulus checks. Now I know we've all heard this before. Last summer we heard this. We heard promises of $2,000 stimulus checks. We've all been hurt before because we get hyped up on these promises and then it just doesn't always pan out. But this is actually the most support that we have ever seen regarding monthly reoccurring stimulus payments. So I'm actually pretty excited about it. I'm also kind of hopped up on like 3 coffees right now. So I'm bouncing off the walls a little bit, but 21 senators want this included recurring stimulus payments within Biden's huge, comprehensive $3 to $4 trillion infrastructure bill that is set to be unveiled this week. So they have sent Biden a letter saying, hey, sneak some reoccurring payments in there, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if this economic butter gets churned because people want and need the reoccurring stimulus payment. So let's take a look at the letter. And then we're going to take a look at the research studies that back up the claims that they make within this letter so we can be more well-informed and decide whether this is actually a good idea or not. I mean, everyone wants more money in their bank account. I want more money in my bank account. I'm sure you do as well. But does it make economic sense to actually do this? This is why you tune into this channel, so you can get the ideas, get what's going on, and find out why these decisions should be made in whichever way. So let's take a look at the letter that's sent over. Memo: Senate momentum for recovery checks. Summary: a powerful and growing block of Senate Democrats are calling for reoccurring, smartly targeted, auto-stabilized direct payments to be included in Biden's next economic recovery package as a top legislative priority. Okay, so here's the letter, and I highlighted different sections, and we're going to kind of break down each and every section. So we can see here, we urge you, President Biden, to include direct payments and automatic unemployment insurance extensions. So I forgot to mention that this letter also calls for unemployment extensions that are tied to economic conditions. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later, though. And they want that as a part of the big infrastructure bill. Like I said, that's set to be unveiled very soon. Well, we're pleased that the American Rescue Plan, which was the last stimulus bill, included a one-time direct payment and an extension of federal unemployment insurance programs. A single direct payment will not last long for most families, and we are worried about the cliff facing unemployed workers when the unemployment insurance extensions expire September 6th. So they're referencing how back in last August, unemployment expired, and there was some negative effects within the first few weeks of it being expired before they re-upped it. There are several reasons to prioritize both recurring payments and enhanced unemployment insurance. First, these two forms of payments are effective together. Unemployment insurance has replaced lost income for millions who have lost their jobs, but millions of others do not qualify for unemployment insurance after seeing their hours reduced, switching to lower paying jobs, or temporarily leaving to take care of a family member or other obligations. So they're saying unemployment is great for those who lost their jobs, but for those who are just simply making less money, that's where stimulus payments come in. Stimulus payment. So they're saying both of them are together create the greatest net benefit. And they say an Urban Institute study suggests that a single direct payment of $1,200 combined with an extension of enhanced unemployment insurance and other assistance could keep 12 million people out of poverty. And here is the research study here. We can see they say basically a second round of stimulus checks, the extension of unemployment benefits, and expanded SNAP benefits, which is food assistance, expanding that by 15%. Those 3 things combined would potentially keep 12.2 million people out of poverty for the rest of the year, including 4.5 million in households with job loss. So they do reference it kind of correctly. However, in this letter, it doesn't say anything about SNAP benefits, but in the actual study, it says SNAP benefits are also part of that. But the stimulus check and the unemployment benefits make the biggest difference there. We can see of that 12.2 million, only 1.7 million would be kept out of poverty because of SNAP expansions. So it's kind of right. This should probably be more like 11 million if we're being nitpicky, but that's why we look at the data. Second, the data shows that direct payments and enhanced unemployment insurance are among the most effective forms of relief available. Now, this isn't argued. I've gone over research studies in the past that basically say the greatest way to stimulate the economy with a stimulus bill is just direct payments. Second is SNAP benefits, and then third is unemployment, and there's a big drop after those things. So they say not only do these payments keep families out of poverty, which we have a research study on that says the absence of the CARES Act, this is of course a projection, would project that the poverty rates would rise to 16.3% given the composition of April 2020. So they're basing forecasts on April 2020. If that were to continue, poverty rates would have been much higher. They also say that this would increase spending. So we have this research study, Policy Brief by JP Morgan and Chase Co. Institute, and this is on unemployment. It says spending of the unemployed increased by 22% among the receipt of unemployment benefits and declined by 14% in August with the expiration of the $600 supplement. So it's saying back in August, when there was that period where no one was receiving unemployment before Trump signed that executive order, spending dropped down dramatically. And they also say that the unemployment roughly doubled unemployed people's liquid savings over a 4-month period between March and July of 2020, and then they spent 2/3 of that in August when that was cut off, which, I mean, makes total sense. Also, they're saying this would support jobs, which might kind of, make you scratch your head a little bit. How would enhanced unemployment support jobs and job creation? So we have this article here that says reinstating and extending the pandemic unemployment insurance programs through 2021 could create or save 5.1 million jobs. So you don't have to read this research study. Basically, how it works out this result is that by paying unemployed workers, more money goes back into the economy. More money into the economy means more money to businesses who can then grow larger and hire more people, and that creates and saves jobs as an indirect way of businesses getting more money. So it's, yes, I agree to it, but I don't know if that's, the perfect way to cite how unemployment is working. I mean, you could say the same thing just for a direct stimulus payment in the same amount as unemployment, but whatever. Moving on, we can see that almost 6 in 10 people say the $1,400 payments set to be included in the rescue package will last them less than 3 months. And the research study that they have cited here talks about the $600 stimulus payment with a sample size of 1,500 people. And they found that less than a month after receiving the $600 checks, half of the recipients had already spent it entirely, and another 20% had spent half or more. Then we're almost done here. The third reason why they believe this should happen, reoccurring direct payments have widespread support from both the general public and economic experts, which is very true. This poll shows 65% of Americans support reoccurring cash payments, reoccurring stimulus payments of all Americans for the duration of the pandemic. And we have a study that shows what the economists are saying about, this is an open letter from economists, they're talking about reoccurring stimulus payments, unemployment payments, and tying those to economic triggers. Now, economic triggers are probably the best way to do these things. So they say direct cash payments are an essential tool that will boost economic security, drive consumer spending, hasten the recovery, and promote certainty on all levels of government and the economy for as long as necessary. They say automatic stabilizers ensure relief for as long as needed, promoting a strong recovery and efficient government. Now, what is an automatic stabilizer? Basically, that is a recovery plan that lasts until the economy hits some specific marker. Usually it's tied with unemployment. We've covered research studies on this in the past. Usually they tie to like 4% unemployment, or they ramp down. If unemployment is at 8%, they give X amount of relief. If it's at 6%, they give X amount of relief. 4%, X amount, and then after 4%, they phase it out completely. So then that way, if the economy needs relief, there's still relief coming, and we don't have to wait for legislation to be passed last minute a lot of times to help what's happening. I really am a big fan of automatic stabilizers because it takes away the legislation aspect altogether. It's all pre-planned and basically says, hey, if in a year from now we're still dealing with this, there will be relief, and then everyone can just count on that relief. And we don't have to sit around wondering, okay, are legislators going to get their crap together and vote on this and make this happen? We don't have to wonder that because the automatic stabilizers are already there. Now, will this actually happen? I'm not sure, because legislators love legislating, and they can work in other things within these stimulus bills, these popular stimulus bills, to get other things passed that maybe wouldn't be passed on their own. So I'm not sure if this will ever happen, but it would be the ideal way to ever do a stimulus package, would be tying it to economic triggers like unemployment or potentially GDP or some other marker that economists deem the best one to show the recovery of the economy. Now, will this happen? I mean, we're not certain, but it does have much more steam than ever before. 21 senators have signed this letter to get reoccurring stimulus payments, and this is huge, frankly. So that's all we have for today. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.